위인자.
One of the prominent legends of man-eaters is that of the Lenama leopards, that was said to have been roaming in the wilds in Lenama, an area that fell within the boundaries of Panama. A two-book series titled 25 Years of Life in the Jungle documents memorable moments of late Thambugala and Antasiri travails in the jungles. He came to reside in the Kutambagala jungles in 1954 and was known for his efforts to clean and make conducive for living several ancient caves. In one of the accounts, the priest states that the biggest leopards were seen in the wilds of Lenama. He says that the Lenama leopard never flees when it sees a human, and that it isn't ferocious when compared to other species in the cat family. However, legend has it that it was these leopards that were responsible for wiping out an entire generation of Vedas that lived in Lenama, but their appearance and identification have been shrouded in mystery. The Yala National Park, located in the southwestern corner of the island, is a haven for several species of flora and fauna. Recent discoveries, however, showcase that Yala is not just the home of wildlife and rich foliage, but also a place where ancient human civilization once thrived. An area of the national park was believed to be a breeding ground for a species of beast men, popularly known as Natavo during ancient times. A publication titled Natavo, The Hobbits of Sri Lanka, compiled by Pradeep Jayatunga, provides insight into the legends pertaining to these early beings. Various accounts indicate that they may have been around 4 feet tall, with red hair, long sharp claws, and possessing other features similar to that of the Neanderthal. Legend states that these beings once roamed the territory of the park as hunter-gatherers, and were in constant conflict with the Lenama Veda tribe, also known as indigenous people. The conflict was purported to often result in small ambushes and theft. It is believed that the Natavo were physically weaker than the Vedas, which led to the beast men using ambush tactics to best the Vedas. Carcasses of monitor lizards and tortoises found in the Mahalanama cave are believed to be indicative of the diets and lifestyle of the ancient men. Interlinked legends endure in Kumana and Yala national parks, providing additional stimulation to the singular dimension of mere animal sightings. The legendary existence and extermination of a race of people or hominins, if they may be called that, named the Natavo, their extermination by the Lenama Vedas, and in turn, the decimation of those Vedas by the legendary Lenama leopards still prevail. The leopards that decimated the Veda clan being sent as an instrument of destruction or punishment by an insulted Kataragama god, who was offended by a certain ritual performed by the Vedas, using pig fat and lamps, as they tried to tell their women folk what they saw of the Kataragama. The Sri Lankan leopard, Panthera pardus catilla, is a leopard subspecies endemic to Sri Lanka. It was first described scientifically in 1956 by Sri Lankan zoologist Paul Edward Yala. The Sri Lankan leopard has a tawny, or rusty yellow coat with dark spots and closed-set rosettes, which are smaller than in Indian leopards. The Sri Lankan leopard has allegedly evolved to become a rather large leopard subspecies because it is an apex predator without competition by other large wildcat species in the country. Large males have been suggested to reach almost 220 pounds, 100 kilograms, but evidence for this is lacking. Melanistic leopards are rare. Few records exist. In October 2019, the Department of Wildlife Conservation recorded live footage of a melanistic individual for the first time, a male. In 2020, a rare dark-furred leopard that was rescued by wildlife officials from a hunter's snare died after 3 days of treatment. Sri Lankan leopard lifespans range from 12 to 15 years in the wild and up to 22 years in captivity. But the general legend as to the Lenama leopards is that they were much bigger and bolder and did not necessarily flee at the sight or confrontation with man. One game ranger explaining the size of a Lenama leopard says, whilst using his hands to demonstrate the size, said their heads are broader and bigger. A most interesting feature of these legendary leopards is that they allegedly had a stripe or two along the neck. The Venonantasari relates, 25 years in the jungle, an encounter with a leopard outside his cave in the Kudumbagala hermitage, the face of a leopard I saw. Yet, he did not look fierce. I saw stripes on either side of his neck. The claws on its paws were quite large. An unrelated incident to the Lenama legend, but nevertheless interesting in terms of leopard color variants with unusual markings, is a record from Hugh Neville in the Taprobanian, December 1885, of an encounter he had with a leopard, which lasted about half an hour on the Kandy Road in January 1884, in broad daylight. He observes the leopard that was threatening to spring upon his horse stood higher than any eye has seen before, and was remarkably thin. The tail was of the full length and unusually long. While the fur was of a dark tawny orange with no appearance of spots, he also comments on the white underbelly fur, and cites another encounter of a similar shaped leopard, with no spots, with a major hubback. This is a cave painting in Kiripakunahala, Kumana National Park. Thought to depict a man astride an elephant as in a perahera and what is thought to be a leopard. Some inferences that this painting is linked to the legend of the Lenama leopard and the tale of the decimation of the Lenama Vedas by those leopards. According to James Emerson Tennant, a Bengal tiger who escaped from a sinking ship at that time was seen in and around Trincomalee on several occasions. So, is Lenama leopard a tiger, or a hybrid? If the Vedas had performed a sacrifice, or killed animals as described earlier, they might have been attracted to predators by dumping the waste of slaughtered animals around their Veda village. Let's talk more about this possibility in the next chapter. Can this be a genetic mutation of the skin or a different fur pattern? Maybe after all these years, it's a hoax, at least some part of the legend. Bengal tigers have been brought to Sri Lanka from the time of the ancient kings to the time of King Raja Singha for royal zoos. Can Lenama leopards be a population that manages to escape from these zoos? So is it a mutation between a tiger and a leopard? A Panthera hybrid is a crossbreed between any of four species: tiger, lion, jaguar, and leopard in captivity. Most hybrids would not be perpetuated in the wild as males are usually infertile. Mitochondrial genome research revealed that wild hybrids were also present in ancient times. The name Dogla is a native Indian name used for a supposedly natural hybrid offspring of a male leopard and a tigress, the combination designated Learjet in the table above. Indian folklore claims that large male leopards sometimes mate with tigresses, and anecdotal evidence exists in India of offspring resulting from leopard to tigress matings. A supposed Dogla was reported in the early 1900s. Many reports probably refer to large leopards with abdominal striping, or other striped shoulders and bodies of a tiger. One account stated, "On examining it, I found it to be a very old male hybrid. Its head and tail were purely those of a panther Indian leopard, but with the body, shoulders, and neck ruff of a tiger. The pattern was a combination of rosettes and stripes. The stripes were black, broad and long, though somewhat blurred and tended to break up into rosettes. The head was spotted. The stripes predominated over the rosettes. The pelt of this hybrid, if it ever existed, was lost. It was supposedly larger than a leopard, and, though male, it showed some feminization of features, which might be expected in a sterile male hybrid. The Dogla is quite interesting in the context of Lenama leopards, because of the similarity of description. But Dogla is considered more of an Indian legend than a hybrid accepted in zoology. The only incident that recorded a similar case in captivity is in 1900. Carl Hagenbeck crossed a female leopard with a Bengal tiger. The stillborn offspring had a mixture of spots, rosettes, and stripes. Henry Sharon Road, a male tiger from Penang, served 2 female Indian leopards, and twice with success. Details are not given, and the story concludes somewhat lamely. The leopardess dropped her cubs prematurely. The embryos were in the first stage of development and were scarcely as big as young mice. Of a second leopardess, there is no mention. Guggisberg said liger and tiger were thought to be invariably sterile, which means they cannot have offspring. The first hybrid of a hybrid, that being a child of liger, was discovered at the Munich Hellebrunn Zoo in 1943. The birth of the second generation of hybrids has proven that the biologists' knowledge of tiger and liger was wrong. It now seems that only male lion-tiger hybrids are invariably sterile, while female hybrids can give birth as other panthera animals as well. Mutants are natural variations which occur due to spontaneous genetic changes or the expression of recessive, hidden, genes. Recessive genes show up when there is too much inbreeding, either in isolated wild populations or in captive populations. Albinism, pure white, chinchilla, white with pale markings, and melanism, black, are the commonest mutations. Erythristic, red, leucistic, partial albinism, cream, and Maltesing, blue, are also reported in big cats. Sometimes the markings are aberrant, too sparse or too heavy, abundism, giving the appearance of a pale or dark individual. White, black, red, blue or cream mutations are similar to those found in domestic cats. Sometimes the pattern is different from normal. As well as anomalous colors, there are abnormally large or small individuals, long-haired individuals, short-tailed or even tail-less individuals. All of these occur in domestic cats, so why are they less common in big cats? Wild cats displaying these traits may be less likely to survive to pass on the traits. In captivity, humans control which traits are bred, hence the multitude of domestic cat colors and types. In the wild, nature selects against any trait which does not enhance the animal's survival chances. We will cover these all variations in another video. Interestingly, pseudo-melanistic leopard or king leopard shows some similar characteristics to the Lenama leopard description. If the Vedas had performed a sacrifice as described earlier, they might have been attracted to predators by dumping the waste of slaughtered animals around their Veda village. But normally leopards are solitary and don't have the ability to wipe out an entire Veda clan. But on rare occasions, there are records that multiple grown leopards will team up for a short period. A group of regular leopards is called a leap. Let's say a group of leopards attack the Vadas. Normally the maximum number of a leap is 6, but a Vada clan has a larger number of people and weapons to fight back. It's very unlikely to happen.
Run.
The story has a greater possibility to be a hoax. But we must admit that there have been some special leopard specimens in Sri Lanka, and maybe still there are some of those magnificent creatures in deep in Sri Lankan forests.